Happy Saturday, folks. And my name is Patrick Gorman. I also go by InfoSec Pat. And a little bit about my background is I come from a traditional network engineer, system engineering background. And about, I think now, probably 13, 14 years ago, I got my PayPal hacked and I got interested in cybersecurity. So I transitioned to the world of hacking. And about 5 years ago or so now, I started making little YouTube videos to try to help people get into the field of information technology and then lean more towards cyber over the last couple of years and just enjoy like giving back to the community whenever I can and just help folks. And if you have any questions throughout, let me know. So today we're going to probably work on some Try Hack Me and let's see if this actually works for me today. Okay. Well, I guess I never went to Try Hack Me on here. So if you guys aren't familiar with Try Hack Me, it's a platform for cybersecurity and red teaming, blue teaming. I think there's DFIR and all that good stuff. Oh, and now I can maybe you have to mute that person. Hold on. Hello, hello. Okay, maybe it was because that person was off speaker. So yeah, so that's a little bit about today, and what we're going to go over is let me just log in because I'm a little ditz and I can't do a couple things at once, so I apologize. So, all right, so this is a little bit about so on Try Hack Me, there's a thing called Learn. You can do hands-on practices. You can do learning paths. I did a few learning paths already. I'm about 56% here. I did Cybersecurity 101, pre-security, SOC 1, junior pen testing, red teaming, blah, 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 blah. So obviously getting into the world of cyber, I'm not sure whoever's on the call, where they're at in their career. But if it's something that you're interested in, and I want to take it that you don't zilch today, you can go to pre-security, get the understanding of some cybersecurity basics, some network basics, and web enumeration, and you can understand some web attacks and learn about operating systems and the fundamentals of that. And then you can get into like cybersecurity 101. And then with this, you can actually lean towards, okay, I want to get more into offensive security, which is the hacking, sacking stuff, or you want to go into like more the SOC, the blue team, when you're responding to incidents, right? So today, what I want to do is I want to actually do a challenge because I was going back and forth in my head. What would be a little more interactive? And so if we go to challenges here, actually search, they always change this, so it drives me bonkers. But we can go under like different room types as CTFs and walkthroughs. So you can go to CTFs, and we're going to go ahead and go just because I'm just going to do easy, just for simplistic sake. And let's see what's on here. Silver Platter. So Silver Platter, I think this with Tyler Ramsey actually. I think he did this room. Let me see. Yeah, he actually put this room together. He's another, content creator, pen tester, and all that good stuff. So we can do this, or I just think these kinds of engagements are a little more fun. Or we can just go through. We can just go through like a different. Let me see. 1 second. Let me go walkthroughs. Easy. Or we can just actually, they always change this. So I'm sorry. So I think information, this is more like informational. So careers in cyber, we could probably do something like this. And then we can go through this really quickly, and then we can do some hack and sack and stuff. I don't know where the chat is. Let me see here. All right, cool. So I do see the chat on the right-hand side here. Hola, people. All right. So what we'll do is go through this really quick. And if there's any questions, because this is pretty cool, right? Like this is, if you want to get into the world of cyber, you can go through and understand some of the careers. So I think this would be pretty informative. So we'll just do this. And if anyone has any objection, just throw it in the chat, say skip this. But I think this would be pretty cool. And Hack the Box, there's a free part, right? And then there's a paid option. So you could probably just, I'm going to throw this in the chat. I think I can copy. Oops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to copy it. And I think we're able to paste it. It'll be cool. So that is the room, just in case you guys want to follow along or do it later or try it out later. And so here we have cybersecurity careers becoming, in demand and the high offering salaries. So this can sometimes be misleading. High salaries, obviously, it all depends on where you are in the world, where you are in the States. In New York, maybe it's a lot different than if you live in South Dakota in the middle of nowhere. So $100,000 in New York is nothing but if you're in South Dakota, you're making 100 grand, you're a rich man, right? So it all depends. So why choose a career in cyber, high pay? Remember, don't look at this and think you're going to be a millionaire. I always say enjoy the process, enjoy what you're doing. Don't just do it for the money because I think, I don't know. For me, when I was chasing money, I was not really happy. And when I was more like content with my work and what I was doing, I was a lot more happy. So hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. But so this room will help you get into cyber, and understand some of the different roles that you can build your career on. All right. The first one is going to be a security analyst. So why is my mouse bugging out? Okay. So let's come back here. So pretty much what is a security analyst doing? They're going to actually look at an organization and protect the organization from different attacks. These are like the folks that are actually going to look at your network logs, look at the data that's traversing through your network, make sure there's no craziness going on. And then, like it says here, the job role requires working with various stakeholders to gain the understanding of the security requirements and the landscape. So if you come into an organization, you're a new hire, you're going to be a security analyst, you have to understand what we're going to be protecting, what applications we use, like maybe Okta, what kind of PIM tools, what kind of EDRs or SIM tools, etc. And so you have to just have that understanding of what you're going to be doing. You're going to work with various stakeholders to analyze the cybersecurity throughout the company, just like I just conveyed, comply within uh, ongoing reports to have, make sure the network is safe, document any issues. God forbid you got hacked or you got ransomware. How can you remediate that? And you have something called playbooks. Playbooks is something how you respond to an incident. And then you can develop security plans, incorporating research on the track of the different tools, the different trends when you're doing your research on the interwebs. And normally, if you're working for an organization, depending on how big the organization is, you have what's called CTI, cyber threat intelligence. So threat intel is you can look at the intel that all your devices are ingesting data into. And now we're going to go ahead and take that data and parse it and understand what we have going on and to maintain the integrity of that data. So hopefully that makes sense. So different learning paths, you can do the introduction to cybersecurity, pre-security, and SOC. This is what I just went over in the learning paths. And be prepared. It's time consuming. So if you look at one of these paths, depending on how much time you have on your hand, you're looking at maybe a month. Realistically, unless you have all the time in the world, you can bang it out probably in a week or so. But we all have lives. So relevant career guide. So how to become, these are all different links. I put that link in the chat so you guys can, look at that in your free time. So that's pretty much about a security analyst. And then once you get strong enough or understand the role of a security analyst, maybe you can bump you up to a security engineer. So this is when you're going to engineer and architect some of maybe a Yara rule, or you're going to do some threat detection, or you're going to implement something into the organization. You're not just analyzing it, you're engineering it, if that makes any sense. So exactly like it says here, design, you're going to be designing something, monitoring, maintaining the security controls, networks, and systems to help prevent cyber attacks. It overlaps with analysts, but you're designing now, you're engineering it. You're not just analyzing. Maybe I sound like a broken record, but I like to make points pretty clear. So, security engineers develop and implement security solutions using threats and vulnerability data. So now what is vulnerability data? You can use something called a VM, vulnerability management application like Rapid7, Qualys, uh, what else is out there? Whatever vulnerability, OpenVAS or whatever it is. And now you can take this data and like, for example, if you have a CVE, common vulnerability exposure, you have that and you can ingest this into some kind of like threat intel to analyze and make sure and see if it's exploitable. That's when you pass stuff on to the red team, and the red team will check the defenses and make sure everything is hardened before you get your external assessment, your external engagement, so you can have those low hanging fruit fixed, right? So yeah, so that really pretty much makes sense, hopefully. And the responsibilities of an engineer, you're going to be testing and screening security measures across your different softwares. Make sure all that stuff is hardened, all that stuff is Gucci, right? So you're going to monitor networks and report on to update systems to mitigate vulnerabilities, identify and implement systems needed for optimal security. Like I said, you're an analyst on steroids. Think about it like that. So that's pretty much what you're going to be doing. And some of the learning paths, if you want to become more of a system engineer or a security engineer, I like that they put the junior pen testing because you have to have some kind of offensive knowledge because you have to have some thought process of how an attacker will attack you in order for you to defend against that. So hopefully that's all good. And how many are there? Oh, there's not that many. All right. So incident responder, like I said, it's pretty much works. This is actually pretty cool. I didn't even realize this when I did it, but it actually works from the bottom up, meaning when you first start and how you progress through your career. And I didn't get that the first time, so that's pretty slick. Um, so yeah, so now you're gonna do an incident responder. You're gonna identifies and mitigates attacks. You know, pretty much an attacker operates, and now we're gonna see what's going under the hood, pretty much. So let's see. What we're going to be doing here is pretty much making sure all the security breaches. We're going to be creating plans, policy, protocols, and different things for your organization, right? Make sure everything is intact and all that stuff. So, excuse me. So, different responsibilities for this will be developing and adopting throughout like your different incident response plans, your playbooks. Like I said before, you're going to create playbooks and make sure you have stuff in order for a security analyst or security engineer to respond to, or how to respond to it. That makes sense. Um, so yeah, so pretty much that's in a nutshell about an incident responder. And like obviously post incident, you're reporting and have your preparation for, God forbid, future attacks, right? And considering learning and adoption for these. So you get an incident. How can you respond to it? How can we learn from this incident? And how can we be better in the future? So that's pretty much what you'll be doing there. This is fun. I did this for 2.5 years, digital forensics examiner. So if you want to work with forensics, if you want to work with courts and police and law enforcement, attorneys, sometimes they can be a pain in the butt, but it comes with the job. So what are you doing here? You're responsible for using digital forensics to investigate incidents and crimes. I really enjoy this stuff, but I didn't say this, but I did say it. They don't pay as much as other parts of cyber, so that's why I got out of it. But it was really fun. Like if you want to think about it, like detective work, and I deleted all my grandma's pictures or my ex girlfriend's pictures because I don't want to have her in my life. If you know how to do it, you can get that stuff out of what's called defragmentation of the data on a drive and extract that from the voluntary aspect of the drive. But yeah, so if you want to play, oh look, if you want to play detective, this might be the perfect job for you, right? So you want to work part of law enforcement department, law enforcement departments. You'll be focused on collecting and analyzing evidence to help solve crimes. So that's pretty much what you're going to be doing, but in a technology world, right? You're going to be doing this, and what you're going to be responsible for is collect evidence. You're going to see like something called chain of custody. So you get this evidence, you put it in a bag, and then you have the right chains of whomever needs to access that within that custody chain in order for you to make sure it's not tampered with, right? So it's fun stuff. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I did it for 2.5 years. Um, so you analyze evidence, digital evidence to find answers related to cases. Like I said, like if you're working on like I've worked on cases at law firms, and there was a lawsuit, and Joe Blow deleted all their emails, their PST files, because they didn't want us to find it. Meanwhile, when you delete that, either if you delete it on your Exchange server, obviously it's probably backed up by your backup system. But if you're deleting that um, your hard drive, that data still resides there. If we get a hold of it, we can use things like InCase, Autopsy. These are different digital forensic tools that we can get into in order for us to retrieve that data back. And malware analysis, I don't really have too much experience here, but what you're doing is analyzing malware. So, you analyze all types of malware and learn how they work and what they do. I can write some malware, I can do some stuff, but I never really got into the nitty gritty of the low binary of understanding how and malware really works. I have probably a little bit, but so I can't really give too much insight on this except what's written here. So, you carry out static analysis of malware programs, which entails reverse engineering. So you have to have understanding of code and all that stuff, and you can conduct dynamic analysis of malware, and then you can document all the findings. It's sort of, I think it's more like reverse engineering. Like I said, this is all code stuff, so this is really not my cup of tea, not my area of expertise, but yeah. So if that's if an interest of to you, dig in, have fun, and learn how to write some malware, make us some money, write some ransomware. Just kidding. Don't do that. But so then the penetration tester, this is what I did for quite a few years. And penetration tester is also known as what's called an ethical hacker. There is a difference between a penetration tester and a red teamer. If you guys really want to know that, I can get on a whole soapbox, but I don't want to do that right now because I want to try to showcase some stuff. This is pretty much responsible for testing the technology products for security loopholes. So we'll hack you. We'll make sure you're compliant for any kind of regulatory compliance like HIPAA, SOC, PCI DSS, or whatever kind of compliance that you need to comply with. Sometimes in order for even to get cybersecurity insurance, you have to get what's called penetration tests or these engagements and have that little check mark on your insurance form. So you may see penetration testing, also known as ethical hacking. A penetration tester's job is to test the security of the systems and software within a company. So pretty much, like I said, we're pretty much acting like a real hacker, but we're getting paid for it. So that's how I thought about it, right? When I got into pen testing, like I said, in the beginning, how I got into this world, I got my PayPal hacked, and it's like coming from New York, coming from the area that I came from. It's like, I've known and I've seen a lot of thieves, right? I'm sure if you're from New York, you're from a certain neighborhood, you probably know some too, right? Or you probably crossed some bad people in your life. So I'm like, oh man, like imagine these robbers or these thieves can get paid for robbing, right? So think about that. So this is pretty much you're getting paid to break into people's systems. So, it was pretty cool. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff, this is the world for you. You conduct tests on computer systems, networks, and web applications. You perform security assessments, audits, and analyze the policies, and you evaluate and reports on the insights. So, whatever you found, you report on it, and then you recommend some remediation plan to protect against those potential compromises. So, and these are some of the learning paths to do that. And the red teamer, you see, the penetration tester and red teaming is a little different. So, what is the main difference? The main difference is right here. Plays the role of an adversary, attacking an organization and providing feedback. So, what is this saying? So, as a pen tester, let me actually fix this chair. So, as a pen tester, your objective is you have 40 hours and you just throw guns and bullets and bombs at an organization in order to see if we can get in, right? Like, if I'm trying to rob your house, imagine like you allowed me to rob your house. but I can break your windows. I can just throw rocks through your window. I can, come with a sledgehammer, break your door, and get into your house, right? I can make all the noise I want because you're allowing me to do that. Now, as a red teamer, is a total opposite. It's like, hey, Kevin, I want you to get into my house and take my TV off my wall, but I don't want to see you do it. So you have to bypass my security cameras. You have to lock pick so no one wakes up in the. Hopefully you guys get the gist. So you have to be more stealthy. That's the word. But you have to make sure right here, penetration looks to uncover vulnerabilities across systems to keep cyber defenses, while red teamers, they want to check the securities detections and respond, but they want to be more stealthy. Like they want to be more off the radar. So hopefully that analogy, I'm not the best with analogies. I try to come up with them on the whim, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So you want to, I don't need, I'll let you still, my broken printer. Exactly. Exactly. John Hammond. Yeah. John Hammond. Yeah. He's good. I love John. Um, sorry. I was looking at the chat, see if there's any questions, and then Kevin put that in there. So yeah, so pretty much you're gonna go ahead and evaluate that and make sure pretty much you're under the radar. You're really testing, and pretty much whatever you got a quiz, but there's really nothing. So that's the different roles. So what I was thinking now, what time is it? So that was pretty quick. So now what we can do, um, lo- let's get into some of this stuff, and we can look and I'll explain. That's why I want to do an easy challenge to make sure what we do. Let me go to. I hate that they changed this thing. I think I actually have to do. Give me 1 second, guys, because I from my um, internal. Um, I don't know if I just joined. Do I get my points for that? No, I have to. Yeah, complete. Okay, there you go. I got my. Because every day you have to answer a question to get your streak, and I'm 523 days in a row. Because if I'm doing something I already did, uh, see, internal says hard. So I don't want to do this because it's probably going to take more than 30 minutes. So we're going to go back. So I just wanted to get my streak continuing. So thank you for your patience. So let's go to difficulty. We'll go to easy and we'll go to CTF. And we'll do, let's see, what can we do that's pretty simple? I don't even remember. Man, can you breach this? We'll test, we'll do silver platter. We'll just give this a shot and we'll get to wherever we get to it. Um, let's play this machine. Let's start this machine and then we can start our attack box. And let me see if there's any other chats. 1 second. Oh, how did that open? All right, let's bring that over here. Oh my God, bring this over here. We'll just give that a few moments. I remember this one was pretty easy. Trying to look at my notes. That's what I was trying to open up. I think it was pretty easy, but it's all about the methodology and understanding and learning the process. So I think it was a web app, which is not really my favorite, but we'll make it work. What's the normal position for entry level in cyber? Is there Yeah. So, in my opinion, entry level in cybersecurity is going to be a security analyst. So, also known as a SOC, right? Security Operations Center. Security Operations Center is going to be the what you're going to be observing, all right, like your logs. But yeah, a SOC analyst is pretty much the beginner level. So let's hit. All right. So what I want to do. So anytime, let's go ahead. What is the IP address in here? Okay. So anytime, right? Anytime you're doing an engagement, we're going to think about this as a not as a CTF. We're going to think about this as a real pen test. So we have an IP address, right? Kevin just gave me this IP address and said, "Hey, Pat, can you test this website?" Right? So first thing we can do is let's paste this here. And then I want to go ahead and what's called, let me get my terminal open. I know the process because I already got it on my notes, but what I want to do is showcase this. One sec. Okay, this opened up. So what we have to do is do like I'm just gonna do a quick nmap scan. So nmap dash, I'll just do HB. Okay, make that bigger. So what I'm doing here is just, this is gonna go ahead and say, nmap is called, it's named network mapper. And then we're gonna do like a service scan on this address. So this is going to say, okay, what services are open? What ports are open? So now it's like if I'm in front of your house, right? I want to walk around your house and see how many maybe windows are open, how many doors are in your house. And it's like, okay, there's a door, but there's a window by the laundry room, for an example, but the window wasn't closed all the way. You know, it was nice out, so they cracked the window to get some fresh air, but they forgot to close that window, right? So that's a vulnerability, right? That's an entry point for a thief or someone that wants to invade your house. So this is the same kind of concept. We're looking to see what windows are open and see if we, well, what windows are there and see if the port is open, which is the window. Like if that, I'm trying to use like relatable analogies, but hopefully that makes sense. We'll give this a second. Okay. So let's come back up. There's a lot of stuff here. Come on, you can go up. Go, 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 go. All right, come on. So there's a lot of junk here. But the main thing we want to see is right here. So we have port 22 open, which is SSH. The version is open SSH. And then we have port 8080, which is the HTTP server, and default port 80 for NGIX, or however you want to say that. So now what we can do is now we know 8080 is open. So now let's go ahead and try to browse out to that. I think I still have my thing. Cool. All right, 8080, not found. Is that the IP address? Yeah, right. Why isn't it not found? Is this all right? Let's just go like this. Okay. All right, so maybe that's just a decoy. I haven't done this machine in a minute. So Hack Smarter is Tyler's little Discord server. So it's an organization decided to help people improve the organization security, blah blah blah. And we can see like, okay, intro, work. All right, let's see a little intro, blah 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 blah. So it gives us a little a little background about this, right? So the first thing I normally do is I just try to see if there's like robots.txt. This is just me when I do any kind of web app stuff. And robots.txt is, one second, let me just, nope. Is it robot? Let's see if they, yeah. So there's nothing there. This will probably, I knew that because sometimes on CTFs, they'll put like some kind of hint or some kind of information in these files. So now we have an IP address, right? Now what do we have to do? we have to start brute forcing different directories. So say for example, if there was something on here called uh, assets, nothing. Let's see if FTP, for example, nothing. But we don't know what's going on. So why not just use something like a tool, right? So what I want to do, hopefully, let me see if I can just copy and paste from my notes so I don't have to write this. I'm probably gonna have to just change the of course it's not gonna work. 1 second. Let me see if I can do it here. Okay. So let me just change my IP address because it's what is my IP address? I don't even remember. A 90.254. Okay. So let me copy this and I'll explain what I'm doing in here. Okay. So GoBuster is a directory brute forcer. So we're using this application called GoBuster, the directory that we want to check for different directories that reside inside this web app. This is my IP address colon 8080 because 8080 is on there. We want to use a word list, and the word list that we're going to use, I hope this word list is here. And no, it's not. Okay. So what I have to do is this. I don't know because I don't really use try hack me's machines. I always use my own. But let's word list. And let's see what else is here. If I just do tab, we can do sec list. And then let's see it tab. Is there content? Um, is there content? No. All right, so there's no content in here, but there's web. Is there web content? No, there's web shells. Okay, let's go back to word list. And I'm gonna go ahead and do derb. See if I can do derbusta. And I'll do tab. Yeah, and here goes the directory medium. Let's just do that. Directory list and then 2 point medium. Now that should work. Okay. So pretty much where I had on my local Kali machine, it's a little different. So their word list is and is just in a different directory. And so we'll give this a moment. I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, I think that was it for my notes. So there's only these two consoles, right? So let's see if we come back up to our, and let's do this really quick. Oh, 8080, sorry. Oh, Jesus. What is it? Silver. I'm trying to think. Let me go back to that. Website console. Let's see. I don't know why I'm not able to get to this. It's really interesting. But let's just see if I can do silver peas. Yeah. So that's interesting because the default page for this is silver peas. That's just a console. So yeah. So now what we have to do is see how we can try to gain access to this. Where did my thing go? So do we have a username and password? No, right? But what we can do is just go out to the great google.com. You know what? I'm just going to do it on my own machine because I'm not going to Google things. on their machine. And I just put, for an example, uh, do, 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 silver, what is this? Silver P's default credentials. This is always what I try. So Silva admin, Silva admin. So let's go ahead and copy this. Come back over here, 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 paste it here, copy that, and let's come back to here and see if these credentials work. Log in. Not now. Okay, so those didn't work. All right, so now what we can do, I probably have to do this on here since we're running this on. So let me okay, English. Okay, whatever. Come on. Should have just done this on my own machine. Okay, accept all. See if I can make this a little smaller. All right, so now what we can do is we have to, since silver, what is it? Silver admin didn't work. We have to try to see if we can find a Silva P's exploit. So, and what we're trying to exploit here is authentication, right? Because we're trying to bypass authentication. So let's do authentication. Come on, type bypass. All right, so this first GitHub. So GitHub is a repository. I'm just trying to explain every step. So if you know this already, I'm sorry, but GitHub is just a repository of code that anyone, DevOps, and anyone and their mother can just put stuff up here and share it with the community. So that's pretty much what that is. All right, so let's see how we can try to do this. Let's go ahead and let's look at this vulnerability. All right. The package. Do I have to sign in for this? No, don't be like that, please. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to see where we can get the exploit. Do, 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 do. Why is this thing taking forever to go up? All right. So this is just a README. I need to get the repository. Times it. All right. So I'll stop this in about like 10 minutes so I can take any questions. But let me see from my notes what I ended up doing. What I ended up doing is use, yeah, broken. It's really interesting because my password was, give me one second, because that's not working, that process. I don't know why that exploit's not showing. It's pretty much showing the same thing. So, login, admin. Yeah, but why isn't this showing that same thing? I wonder if something changed. Because one sec, guys. It's not really showing up. Let's see if this actually copies and pastes over here. Now my motion's not loading. Of course,
Yeah,
every time.
Pat, if it's I mean, you don't gotta go through the whole room, but like if it's a problem or it's an issue, it's no big deal.
Yeah, yeah, no sweat. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my exploit from my machine, from a machine that I have like sitting next to me. I'm getting copied to my local machine, and then from my local machine, I get it onto to to this machine, but it's not. Yeah, it's not really working the way I wanted to. But all right, so let's see. So let me see. I'm gonna try one more time. Let's try to do this one last time. Let's see if this copies. And admin. Okay, now it's copying. Okay. Let's see now if silver admin. No, that's I don't know why is but yeah. So this is really not going as I wanted to. And yeah, it's really interesting because this is what I have on my notes. So one second. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure what's happening. Obviously, I went through it and the exploit worked because I was able to get the flags. But anyhow, like pretty much you just have to like go through, get the exploit and go through this process. But yeah, we can just terminate this. But yeah, like what time is it? Yeah, it's like 15 minutes. So obviously I thought that was gonna be a lot easier because it was easy when I first did it. I would have to probably go through this and see why it's not working, probably go on it on my machine. But if there's any questions, let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. Let me move you guys back over here. So if there's any questions for myself, okay. Um, bring you guys here now so I can look at. Yeah, and just let me know if there's anything that career-wise or anything I can help you guys. And there is, whoops, why is this thing keep? Oh, there we go. I do have, like, if anyone's interested, I do have a YouTube channel, and I also have a course that I did for entry level penetration testing. So if you're interested in that, I will send over, oops, my channel. This is my channel, and then let me go to my course. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, throw it in the chat.
Do you say oh yeah, he's asking for your LinkedIn. You're asking for your LinkedIn in chat.
Yeah, yeah, yep. I can get my LinkedIn.
I was gonna ask you, would you say uh and I'm asking you because you've been in IT and cyber for like a good minute for a while. So, would you say blue team is easier than red team, or red team is easier, or would you say it really depends?
That's a good question. So, what's easier? I think offensive security is easier. The reason being is because I only have to be right once to get into your system, right? Think about this. We'll use the same analogy breaking into your house, right? You think it's easier for you to protect your house from getting robbed, or you think that it's going to be easier for the robber to get in and steal that TV? You know? So it's probably going to be easier for me to rob your house than for you to protect it. Reason being is because I only have to be right one time to rob your house. You have to be right every single time for every thief that comes in. So offensive security is way easier because blue teaming, you're looking at logs. You have to make sure you're keeping ahead of the time of these attacks. You have to make sure everything is up to par because one little mistake, you're going to get hacked, right?
Hmm.
So, in my opinion, blue teaming is harder. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. And then would you say, is there, this is a random question I'm asking you because I know you've been in the blue team side. Is there such thing as alert fatigue?
Ooh, love that. I think so. I think so. Sometimes that's why you have to make sure your logs and your settings, your configs are all good because there can be some false positives. There can be things that come up like, oh, you're investigating it and it was, you know, a false alarm. But yeah, alarm fatigue definitely happens. That's why you have to make sure your detection engineering, when you do detection engineering, all your stuff is up to par. Your POCs, your hashes are in place. Make sure everything, but it's never going to be like perfect because there's going to be a new attack. There's going to be a new hash. Then you have to make sure this is in the system in order for us as the blue teamers to protect against that attack again. Right. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I was asking because sometimes if you're a SOC analyst or I guess you're doing security on the blue team side, sometimes you get alerts that make no sense. Like someone is in I say New York, and then they're traveling to like Germany or something, and then you get an alert, and they're like, "Oh, I just got an alert that this guy's in Germany now. What the hell happened?" Right? And then it's not even a real alert; it's like a fake alert. He's still in New York. He's using a VPN or some weird nonsense. That's why I was asking that question.
Yeah. And that happens all the time, especially when you have end users that I want to say, quote unquote, think they know what they're doing. Right. Um, why I say that is because, yeah, like on my home computer, right? Like if I'm just browsing on the internet, I do use a VPN. So nothing is tracked back to my public IP. So what I do, like this is me because I just like to be as safe as possible. I have a VPC, I have a virtual private server in the cloud somewhere that I connect to, and then I connect to a VPN, and that's where I do my attacks from. So if it ever gets tracked, it gets tracked to that machine, and I can whack it once I'm done. Right. So it's like I want to go to Kevin's house. I can't really use an analogy that we can do that, but like if that makes sense. So in this case, maybe someone's like, "Oh, I want to use a VPN because I can't watch my pool game. It's only playing in Germany, right? So I need to connect to Germany in order for me to get this access to this bijar. And now, okay, now I can watch this pool game, and now now you're triggering alerts because now you opened up your Teams or your Gmail or your whatever, your Outlook or your Office 365, and now it's like, what the hell? Now it's like, oh, I have to re-authenticate. Oh, I can just authenticate really quick. And now re-authenticating. Now it looks like a risky user in Office 365 because now it's like in, but hell no, carajo land, right? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, and Hammy just was writing, or he's like, yeah, I agree. Only notify people who need to be alerted for different types of issues, and help desk doesn't need to know about everything. Like brute force attacks hitting the VPN portal. Is basically what he's saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is a chat. So agreed. Notify people and it needs to be alert. Yep. All right. So what should I have on my profile? Student, blah. Lastly, do you think all the labs and projects I've done in school? Oh, yep. I think that's awesome. I don't know if you yeah, I think you directly text me that, but someone asked, I'm not sure if you asked because you don't want to be put on public, so I want to leave your name anonymous. But someone in the chat said, you know, for their portfolio, they're a student, they want to get into the world of cyber, you know, he thinks jobs are denying him because they don't see what he can do. So, how can you fix that? The way you can fix that is the projects that you're doing showcase it. You don't have to showcase your face. So you don't have to do YouTube videos. But what you can do is make an archive of, you doing the labs. You can do whatever and just make like little walkthroughs too, like on Medium or on GitHub. Just showcase like screenshots so you can back up what you know. And, you know, 15, 15 years ago, yeah, it was really easy, like just to throw some stuff, some acronyms, DNS and DHCP and WINS and WSUS and all these things back then. And it was really hard to like really showcase it. So it was like, you're winging it, like you're like, okay, like this guy says he knows this. Now you can test everyone on the whim. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to be a pen tester or a security analyst, I can set up a lab and have you just remote into my machine and say, okay, I have this lab. Hey, Mr. Bob, go ahead and, we have an hour and this lab should only take 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. I'm not going to give you a 3 hour lab in an hour. That's not cool. But just going back what you're saying, like showcase what you're doing in school on a blog form or some kind of, even if you want to do videos, you don't have to actually talk or show your face. You can just do the walkthrough and keep it as a private YouTube and have your videos all private and just have your link on your resume, right? And unless you want to public, make it public. I think that that's even better because you're helping other folks. But hopefully that helps your question, brother. Help desk team doesn't need to know there are brute force attacks hitting the VPN port. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Are you asking that help desk doesn't need to know, or are you just saying that? I'm not sure what you, Hemi. I'm not sure if you're asking or just making a
No,
joke out of
he
that.
was replying back to the when I said about the fatigue, the alert fatigue. He
Mm,
was commenting back on that. Yeah, because sometimes we get alerts on stupid things like, oh, this guy's email is suspicious. I think you should block this guy's email, even though he's a legit person and he's a real person. He's a financial guy that you're working with and you're trading with him, or you're like, just you get an alert that doesn't make any sense. That's why we're asking that question.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. I think I think it's all good, good stuff. And yeah, like alerts can be a lot of the time false positive, and it can be a pain in the butt. You know what I mean? It can really be a pain in the butt because, I think it's annoying. Like I don't really do, I'm more on the engineering side, but I'll definitely have to go through an alert to see what's going on and see what's happening on whatever MDE or CrowdStrike, whatever the application is. And sometimes like it can be, a pain in the butt to really decipher. Uh, PF, Pat, I mean, oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I respect you. Keep it up. Cheers, man. That really means a lot. Thank you. Can CTI, cyber threat intelligence, be a standard career in cybersecurity? So yes and no, right? So cyber threat intelligence, it's a bundle, in my opinion, of the intel. You're not going to only do that unless you're like a massive company, maybe, and then you're going to be siloed for CTI. But I think, CTI is just an addition skill to have on top of what you're going to be doing in your role, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. In my head, it makes sense. But sweet. And the second question, what do I do for a living, if you don't mind me asking, aka how do you find time to help people? Love that. Oh man, you're good. So what do I do for a living? I'm a supermodel. No, I'm just kidding. But I I work for a company that I do consulting, right? Yeah. So I do consulting, and so that's a really good question because I work also for another company that I do offensive security for. So my day job, my 9 to 5, I do, you know, blue team type work, response, engineering, you know, setting up different kinds of technology. I'm not gonna divulge the company I work for. I like to keep that anonymous. But and what was the next part? So and then I do like my YouTube videos and I create courses and I collab with folks like Kevin and other folks in the community. And How do you have fun? Yeah, and that's a good question. So I find time because I want to do it. And I feel like this making this difference matters, right? Like if I wasn't on this for the hour, I would probably be, hack the box or going to the gym or arm wrestling or doing something. But like maybe it's fun for me, right? It's fulfilling because it's like, oh, weekend stuff. But now it's like, okay, whatever I'm talking about, hopefully the folks on this call are getting something out of it. So that's what's heart touching for me. So that's why I make the time. And I am a ball buster too. So Kevin knows that. So, question three: do you conduct these Zoom sessions every Sunday? No, no, it's not. This was an honor. I was invited here to chit chat with you folks. I think they have different guests here all the time. But if you have any questions for me directly, you can join, my Discord server. I can put my Discord in here as well. Kevin's in there as well. And let me get that over for you folks. Copy this and let me paste it here. So that's my Discord. Well, wherever it went. I don't know where it went. Oh, I think I just, whoops, that's my bad. I think I put it directly to someone. So that's my Discord. And so you can join that if you have any questions directly for me. If you ever want to shoot the smack, let me know. So, what security standard do you typically work with? I'm typically enforce. Yeah, the CIS benchmark is definitely a good one because that gives you that benchmark of whatever security policies, password policies, whatever. I use the same. I use CIS. Are certs that impactful for getting a job, or do they just get you the interview? If so, what are the good ones to have for the first cybersecurity entry level? Thanks. Oh, that's a good one. So so I give you a little bit of, thank God you put in for 2 hours, but a little bit about me and certifications. So a big thing for me was in my 20s, when I first started, I started in my late teens, early 20s into IT. So when I got because I did things a little backwards, and I did my MCSE, which is Microsoft Certified System Engineer, before I did any of the CompTIAs. So that's 7 exams. So when I went and I did this is because where I was working, they had just work groups for their clients. Their clients were just like small doctors' offices or little small law firms, and they just had their EMR application or whatever, just, you know, 10 computers or whatever. So they didn't really have a domain. And I was like, what is the next step here? The next step was to get into an environment with Active Directory. And back then it was, you had to do DC promo with 2003 server and understand all that jazzy jazz wins before like really DNS was a thing. So this was more up my alley. But then where I landed a job, they wanted the trifecta, which is the A plus, network plus, security plus. And I was never a computer guy. I'm still not really a computer guy, to be quite honest. I like to be honest. Like when I say computer guy, like hardware and like gaming and getting to the nitty gritty of the hardware of a machine, right? So when I had to do this certification, and this is the first part to your question, I had an MCSE. I went for this job interview and they wanted a bloody A plus. It's like asking, I have a PhD, but you're asking me to have a high school diploma, right? So I just didn't get it. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I already have a PhD. Why do I need to go back and do something that's way past that? Come to find out, I was totally wrong, right? Because in my head, I'm like, man, I'm setting up servers, I'm configuring, blah, 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 blah. I can do whatever. I can do a lot of stuff. But yeah, can I build a computer? Probably not, right? Maybe not. So in this company, they wanted these A plus, network plus, security plus in order for this person to like, okay, when a machine comes in, we can prep it, we can get it formatted, we can get it joined to a domain, all that stuff. Joins, once a machine is set up, I was able to do all that. But the initial stuff, and this was back when we would get all the computer parts and it was cheaper just like build it in house, right? Instead of buying a Dell, because this was when, a standard computer compact or gateway computers back then. they were like over $1,000, right? But if you get all the little parts, you're going to pay 300-400 bucks. So came to find out I needed my A plus. So that's my story. So to get the interview, check. But back then it was not like now a lot of stuff is detailed. So like if it says required security plus or CEH or OSCP or whatever certifications are required, that don't be shy to apply, right? Apply. And if you know the company, you can go on LinkedIn, you can do your due diligence, your reconnaissance, and reach out to them. Say, hey, I applied for this job. I think I'm a good fit because XYZ. I see that you're asking for PMPT. Well, that actually rhymed, right? That's a bar right there. But like, and then you can just take that and say, hey, I don't have my PMPT today, but if you give me that chance, I can meet all the other requirements, but I just don't have that certification. If you give me 3 months or 6, whatever, you know your learning style, I can get it. And if I don't, you fire me, right? So that's definitely an approach, and I've done that in the past when I had to do Cisco stuff. I didn't have like CCNP or, at that level when I applied for a network security engineer. And I was like, give me 6 months and I'll have my CCNP security. And I did it. I did CCNP security, CCNP route switch, and CCNP wireless. But that's when I was a Cisco guy. But yeah, hopefully. And so if that's one of the good ones. So the entry level IT jobs like the security analyst and SOC analyst roles. And yeah, so hopefully, I know that was a long answer, but hopefully you got the best out of it. All right, let me get a sip of tea because my blood sugar is going down. I completed the pre-security learning path and almost done with the security 101. I was thinking of taking a security plus exam on Thursday. After completing, that's how I'm going to be last year. I've been looking for a job. I've I posted my project on GitHub and shared on LinkedIn, including my try hacking certifications, pictures from network events. Given my efforts, what else can I do to improve my job search in the beginning stages? You're definitely doing the right thing. And my recommendation, again, like you said, you're doing all the right things, right? And I really can't like add much to that because you said you're going to networking events, you're going to go to little conferences, and don't only go to a conference. So this is something like I go to just conferences for the hell of it because I'm not in the industry to look for a job. I'm just there to have fun and network with folks and 98% of the time I go to a conference is because I've been invited to talk or do a workshop, something like that. I don't really, unless it's like DEF CON, right? But like a little B-sides, I don't really just go willy-nilly just to hang out. I normally go there because I was invited. That's the God honest truth. But for someone that's just going out there to network with folks, look who their sponsors are and look who's going to be there. For an example, ThreatLocker was here in Orlando where I'm at, right? If ThreatLocker is a company that you're interested in working for, right? You're like, okay, ThreatLocker is awesome. I want to go to this conference and I want to network with the ThreatLocker folks because that's in person. You don't have to send an email or wait for a response. You can show them, shake a hand, make a relationship. And that'll give you so much more props and like, higher up on a totem pole than excuse me, if I was just sending an email saying, hey, ThreatLocker, I'm interested in a role. But, who is it? Joy is there shaking hands with that person. So you're doing all the right things, man. You're doing all the right things. And I, it just sucks because I know, it can be like you feel like you're at a dead end, but don't give up and just keep going. Showcase your just keep showcasing your job, your work that you're doing. You did the security plus, or you're taking the security plus on Thursday. Good luck, and reach out to me, and I can, I can. I'm sure Kevin has more connections than I do, but put some stuff and then tag other folks. That's another thing you can do, right? So, you have Kevin, you have myself. There's probably other people that you probably follow or watch. Just say, hey, like I've been watching, Kevin's thing and whatever. I like his videos. I've learned something from this person, whatever. Just have a little synopsis, I guess. And because I think a good point, I think Kevin made this point, like just tagging someone that without any context is a little, sometimes people can take that the wrong way, especially if you don't know them personally. But I think like having a write up and just having that exposure definitely helps too. All right. Hopefully that answers that. I'm taking CYSA next month. That would be another cert to go with. Oh, I don't know much about the GRC field. Sorry about that. I don't, and good luck when you're CYSA plus. I heard that's a good one. I don't have that certificate. I'd stopped taking CompTIA certs a long time ago just because I feel like I have them all, but I don't have them all. I have A plus, Network plus, Security plus, Linux plus, Storage plus, Project plus. I don't even know what other pluses, but I don't have Pen Test plus. I don't have COSA plus. But good luck. And someone for GRC is Gerald, Simply Cyber. He's a GRC person, so maybe you can do the same thing, showcase your GRC stuff that you're interested in, and maybe tag someone like him. I wish I can answer that, but I never did really too much GRC, so I apologize. Oh, you're very welcome, PF. Exactly. I'm just going down. Thank you, Kevin, for adding that. Tag someone with a good reason. Simply Cyber. Pat, I'm not a celebrity, man. I'm just here chilling, looking like a supermodel. But just kidding. I like to say that. I don't even know why I say that. I'm just a ball buster, I guess. I don't think I'll ever be able to reach the heights of success. No, dude, don't say that again. If you were right in front of me, I would probably smack you. Don't ever say that because I think at the end of the day, don't compare yourself to the next person, right? Create your own path. And I can say the same thing, right? I can say the same exact thing. I can say, I'm never going to be as rich as Bill Gates, right? Well, I'm never going to be as cool as Kevin, right? For an example. But at the end of the day, I want to be as cool as me. I want to be better than I was yesterday, right? I don't want to be like Kevin. I don't want to be like Bill Gates. I want to be like Patty, right? So just be a better version of myself. Don't compare because that's going to drive you bonkers. And you're really going to be, I want to say this, I don't want to curse, but like in the gutter, you know what I mean? So try, just do your own thing, dude. Like just keep doing you and don't ever compare yourself to the next bloke. Like if I go to the gym, right, and I see some dude that's jacked, if I say, I'm never going to be like that, I don't want to be like that unless you stick needles in your ass. But like if you're going to be like, if don't ever want to be like someone else, like, yeah, I want to be as strong as arm wrestling. Yeah, like I have a lot of strength and I'm pretty good at arm wrestling. But like for an example, what is the what is the name of this guy? Larva Davis or something like that. Like Levon, I think his name is like the best arm wrestler in the world, right? If I say, oh, I want to be like him, like no, I don't want to be like him. I just want to be like myself. So thank you for the kind words, PF. But dude, just be like you and always be a better version of yourself and just keep rocking, dude. You're killing it. It's not comparing. It's more like having a role model to follow. Yeah. If that's the case, I've had that. Like I've said I've done that too. Thank you for that clarity if that's the case. There's someone called Keith Barker and I love him to death and now I can call him a good friend. And so thank you. Thank you. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. And I really appreciate that. And like from the bottom of my heart, that's cool. And there's Keith Barker, and I feel the same exact way as him, right? Same exact way as you about him. Like now I can call him my friend, I can call him out on the phone, I can go to his house. It's like I watched this dude. Like I went through my Cisco training, my Palo Alto training, my checkpoint training. No, he never knew what the impact he had on my life, right? So it's like you never know who's going to impact you. And if I have some kind of impact on anyone, including you, PF, I want to, personally say thank you because I don't do this for me anymore. Like I just do it so I can help as many people as I can. I can hang up the mic and be perfectly fine. You know what I mean? And but I do this to make a difference. There's no. Oh, now you're talking. Now, I don't know. Well, I see. I never lost yet. So I never lost yet. And the one person that I was a little nervous about, and I want to put him on blast. I love him. Is Kevin's brother, right? I and that's interesting. So we can meet sometime and have an arm wrestling thing. So I remember like bef I met Kevin's brother and I'm like, man, this dude seems pretty strong. And he's left-handed and I'm right-handed. So I'm like, okay, to make this fair, I'll do it left-handed. I'm not going to be like, oh, let's do it righty and I demolish him. So I took, and I'm not left-handed, and he couldn't move my arm. Couldn't move it. He tried all his might. And I'm like, that's all you got? I'm not going to put his name out there. I'm like, that's all you got, brother? And he's like, dude, how are you so strong? Kevin can witness it as well. He can't move my arm either. So PF, man, maybe we can do like for like $1,000, bring some cash to the table and we can arm wrestle. Um, yeah, I need to about to come to beat him. It's crazy. I don't even know where I got that strength. I discovered it 2 years ago at DEF CON. So, funny enough. So even though your day job is being a is a model, that's funny. I'm not really a model. That's just a joke. You're very approachable and very straightforward. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I always try to be approachable. Like I'm not better than anyone. And I always try to make that very clear in my videos, in my live streams, when I meet people in the real world. Like I just want people to, I'm not some big shot. You know what I mean? I'm just a normal person just like you. Maybe I just make a few videos to help people and I have some recognition. That's the only difference. Like I will never like think I'm better than anyone. So please don't ever think that. Who hosted you today? Who hosted today, Pat? I see you as a host. Yeah, so yeah, the team at Raíces hosted it and they send me the link. So I guess I am the host because I guess I ran the show today. How often do you do these Zoom sessions? Me personally, like whenever I think, I'm not sure if you jumped on it later, but I normally do this whenever Kevin and the team invites me. And I'm more than happy to, I can always be a guest and talk whenever. And so I think the last time it was what, Kev? I think it was in my other house. So it had to be over 6 months ago.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. So, yeah. So if there's like I said, if there's anything you ever want or need from me personally, hit me up on LinkedIn or Discord or whatever. Just shoot the questions and I'll be able to do my best.
Yeah, okay, so I'll ask you for $100 then after this call.
Exactly. It's $100 to see my face again. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if there's any other questions, I don't mind hanging out. Kevin hosts arm wrestling matches too. Yeah, maybe. PF, are you in New York? I don't even know where you're at. Um, but if you're in New York, whenever I'm up there, man, I'll meet up and we can handle that. So let me know. Let's go. Dude, I wish you were right here. We can do it right now on camera. That would be funny as hell. But do you really arm wrestle? Like, because I don't really know too many people that arm wrestle. Or is it like you're just super strong and people, you do it with friends and they just can't beat you? But if you really arm wrestle, because I really arm wrestle, I'm not like, um, but yeah, totally down, dude.
Yeah,
Totally down.
only time I arm wrestle with Pat if he's sleep deprived for 5 days. I have to have some sort of like preparation. Then I'll arm wrestle him. Other than that, I'm not arm wrestling Pat anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it, Dana. Ask away.
I'll turn on my camera. Um, a question that I have. So I'm a student. and I'm currently trying to really develop like my skills and trying to enter. I'm really new to the cybersecurity world. And I was
Mhm.
wondering for you, what's a skill you wish you would have developed earlier in your career? Something that you would advise to students right now in this entering this new world of cybersecurity. Is there something you would recommend that we should probably do before something else, or is there like a certificate that you think would be best to get done earlier on? I was wondering if you have like any advice about that for students.
Oh, I love that question. If you're asking me personally, something that I think I wish I would have known or wish I would have done is be more nice. What do I mean by that? Because I make a little funny joke with Kevin and everyone, but like when I grew up in an area that was a little tough, right? So when I got into the workforce, that transferred to the workforce. So like I was a knucklehead to keep it, straight. So I didn't like to be told what to do. You told me what to do, I want to, go the other way. Like I had to hear it in a certain way. Like if you said, "Oh, like go do this," I would tell you to go kick rocks. But if you said, "Hey, like," so something I wish I would have known or wish I would have developed sooner is be a little like less of a knucklehead. I'm trying to put it in the best words as I can, and so and learn people skills. Because I was always a people person, but I was never a people pleaser, right? So if that's a difference, right? So that's what I wish, because it got me to some to some trouble in the workplace. Because like I said, like I was in my own lane. If you try to come in my lane, like I didn't care. So that's something I would always advise. Now it's a totally different ball game. But when I was in my early 20s, late teens, you were talking to a wall. So and as far as like certifications and all that stuff, I think learning the fundamentals and learning the concepts are more important than the certification, because the certification is just going to reinforce that knowledge that you know? So it's like going to school, right? You learn all this information, but yeah, you get a degree. But even without that degree, God forbid you dropped out on Q4 in your fourth year, you still have all that knowledge. You just don't have that piece of paper to enforce that knowledge. So gather all the information, gather all the intel that you can, consume that in your head, and that's way more worth it than just a piece of paper. That's my advice.
Thank you. Yeah, that's I think that's really great because I think like going through classes and doing all this, like I think being able to also develop skills where with people and being able to network is important. So thank you for that advice.
Yep. Yeah. Because if you asked me 20 years ago to network and you looked at me the wrong way, I would tell you something. You know what I mean? So I was a totally different person 20 years ago than I am today.
Yeah, I see.
Uh,
Yeah. Is there also any mistakes that maybe you made throughout your like cybersecurity career that you would advise us to like watch out for, or anything that we should just be like keeping an eye out that as students right now starting off?
when you say, I need you to elaborate on mistakes. Do you mean mistakes like, oh, snap, I just blew up a server and how can I have done that different? Or like, had confrontation with a manager, or like can you elaborate on like what kind of mistake you're referring to?
Yeah, when I say mistakes, I mean something that maybe students are just naive to or vulnerable. For example, say you spent like a couple months trying to get a certain certificate, and then at the end of the day, you didn't really end up needing it as much for a position that you were applying for, or maybe just watching out for some like in an interview, maybe a question that you think you could have really improved on, or you completely bombed it? Just anything like
Oh
using it.
yeah. Interviews interviews are hard, right? Because interviews aren't just like technical questions. Technical questions are easy. Oh, what is DNS or what is this? That's the easy stuff. But like when it gets into like the personality type things, that's the stuff that me personally, I have to think about, right? It's like, oh, tell me about yourself, and those kind of questions. And it's like, what do you want to know about me? And still till today, that's a hard question for me to answer, because I'm like, what do you want to know? I'm not going to tell you everything about me, because like what do you want to know? Like, you want to know where I grew up? You want to know what I did yesterday? Like, that's such a, I understand when people say, tell me about yourself and tell me about your career. Like, I can go, oh, I start the same thing I started out this morning, right? Like, started out in network engineering, system engineering, and grew my way into what I am today. But I think career wise, I think that's career wise. I think actually, man, let me think about this for a second. I think, hmm, that's a good question. Man, trying to think. I think, yeah, there was an interview in the past. I'm just trying to think about an interview because my mind was there. There was a time that the easiest question, I blew the easiest question because this is about 12 years ago. And one thing I never used to do is research the company, right? And so that's something that you can put in your arsenal, like research the company before, because usually they're like, okay, like what, two questions, right? Why did you apply to us? And what do you know about our company? And I, and this is the answer I said, right? And this the God on his truth. I was like, why do I need to know about your company? I'm not going to be, I'm just, I'm just the technology guy. I don't need to know anything. I just need to know about what your software is. I don't care what you're selling. Like that was the God honest truth, and they didn't like that. They didn't like my answer. So that was something that I learned from. Like, okay, now I need to know. They build railroad tracks, which I don't even care about, but I guess I got to care about for the 10 minutes of this interview. So yeah, do some due diligence.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that really helped. I took some good notes. Thank you as well, just for all the advice you're giving us and for being here. Like, I really appreciate it. And like, as a student, like, I'm a big fan too. So
Uh,
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So let's see what other questions. Be curious. Let's see. It was, yep. Uh, it's my dream. I try my best. Yeah, man. Most definitely. Like, we'll definitely make that happen. Even if you ever at like a conference, I normally advertise or let the world know, like if I'm going to a conference or I'll be at this, whatever conference. And if you're ever around and you ever like go to DEF CON or Black Hat or any of those big conferences, that's a conference I'm always at. Let me know and then we can meet up and we can arm wrestle. Watch it. But if you're like, I don't know how tall you are, how much you weigh. So there has to be a limit, right? Like, so there's that. Be curious. Yep, be curious. Oh, looks like you follow Jesus. Sounds good. Thank God. Question. Your courses are paid or free? So there's some free courses that I have like on my YouTube channel, like playlist. And then I have like that's what I was doing before. And I think so give me a second. I do have a paid course. Um, give me 1 second. Let me see if this is the link. Because I just changed my link up and I just want to make sure I send you folks the right one. Yeah. So this, where are you guys? This is my course that it's more structured, right? The ones on, and it's paid, it's like $100 and you have it forever. But if you guys want, this is my email. This is my email, pat@infosecpat.com. If it's something, if you're interested, I can do 50% off for anyone here. Just shoot me an email because I'm not going to give a code because I don't want that code being leaked. So, what is there? 10 people here. I can make 10 codes and I can just put Sunday session or whatever. I can make the code that. Just shoot me an email if you're interested. And then I can send you a code and you can get it for like 50% off. I'll make a 50% off for everyone here. I'll make 10 of them. So if there's extra, you know, you can share the other two. Um, you know, Paid courses. I believe that let's get paid for time. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Like I I really enjoyed giving free stuff out, like all the stuff that on my YouTube channel. But if you consolidate everything, you could probably do a course because it is time consuming going through a structured course, not just like, oh, today, what am I going to think about? Oh, let's talk about hacking green tea bottles, right? And then I'll make a green tea bottle hack, for an example. Or let's look at how to do a muscle up. Oh, it's all scattered. So I'm like, okay, like, and I've been asked to make a structured course for probably like 3 years, nearly 3 years. And I finally came around. I was like, I want to bite the bullet, sit down and actually make a structured course. And it's not easy because thinking about a whole structure from start to finish. So how I thought about that is what you would need to be a junior penetration tester. Like, so from you start to you end that course, once you're done with that, you're a junior tester, minimum junior tester. And you can hack Active Directory, you can hack, your girlfriend's Instagram. Just kidding. But you can do, the basic stuff that you can talk through a basic interview, like, okay, what is an LTLM hash? What is if you have an initial access or what's called an assumed breach scenario? If I have Kevin's username and password, how can I start enumerating so I can get all 8 participants tonight or today's uh, user hashes, and I go through all of that. So I go through some thorough stuff. So it's pretty cool. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. I'll look tonight. I'll give everyone a couple hours because I have something to do after this anyway, and then we'll go from there. Just curious, how many hours did you invest? 0 to finish your pen testing paid course. Oh man, it took me hours wise. Man, I would say, hmm, probably 60 to 80 hours. No, I think it was like maybe, I don't know if it's 120. I don't even know. I'm guessing, to be honest. Uh, but it's not only like setting up the video, excuse me, it's not only like the video recordings. I guess maybe it is probably about 100 hours, 100 probably plus that. Because if I think about it, I don't know who the hell's dinging me. But it's like setting the video, no, writing the concept or the course, um the outline of the course, and then I have to go set up my server, set up the environment, showcase how you guys need to mock what I'm doing, and then record, edit, upload. Yeah, so it has, yeah, I never really thought about it, but yeah, yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. So it's a lot of work. And I started working on another course, and then I moved and I have, life happens, but I think I'll probably put another course out, and I'll be collaborating with Kevin as well to hopefully get some stuff on the platform from his neck of the woods. So collaborating is awesome and sharing is caring, in my opinion. So if there's any other questions, if not, I know we're over about a half hour. I don't care. I know we put this for 2 hours, but any last questions? I'm down. I just getting old and my back starts hurting if I sit more than an hour. So I'm getting a little antsy. I sometimes think that is, I sometimes think that overall cybersecurity community is spoiled by always asking for free stuff. Oh, that's lovely, dude. I really like that because, all right, so I always dedicated and donated is more the right word, my time for free. And like I wouldn't mind even, I'm like, oh, PF, hey, like hit me up tonight. We'll chat. Call me. Here's my number. I was always like that. Here's my number. Give me a call and we'll just chop it up. And then, or like, here's a Google Meet meeting and whatever. If I just met you off the internet, I'll probably not give you my phone number. But, if I start knowing you, I'm like, okay, just hit me up whenever you have a question. And then I started doing that. And I have a daughter, I have a family. And I'm like, yo, like PF's not here. Like I just carved out an hour of my time on a Wednesday night where I can be spending with my daughter, and I'm waiting for PF, and this dude didn't show up. So after that happened about 20 times, I said, screw it. I'm going to be like, yo, like you want to talk to me? It's going to be X amount of dollars. I set up a coaching and thank you for this idea from Kevin. He was like, yo, like start charging for that time. And I was like, okay, that's when I started, getting into more of the coaching and having that mentor type uh, structure. And because if you're paying, you're going to show up. Because if you don't show up, you lose your money. So you snooze, you lose, right? So that's why, and you're right about that. It gets really, really spoiled with the free stuff, and everyone wants things for free, but they don't realize what the people are putting into the efforts of folks that are putting in the back end. All right, so let's see. All right, since this is a direct thing, I'm not going to put the name on some real lifestyle change. Was it if you first cybersecurity? It's located when I'm looking for blah,
I'm
blah,
going
blah.
to head out, but I just want to say one more time, thank you so much for
Yep,
everything and just thank you, thank you. Really
yep,
grateful.
yep. Likewise, thank you.
I'll be emailing you. Thank you. Bye.
So, so to answer your question, I'm from the hood too. I'm from the hood. I grew up poor, welfare. Like both parents addicts, in jail, Rikers Island, like upstate. Like I grew up like that. Like I didn't know where I was gonna be, and I never envisioned life where I'm at today. So so you can do it. So if you're from the hood, if you're from the ghetto, whatever you're from, like you're the only destiny. Like you're the destiny of your own life, dude. Like so how big of a lifestyle change was it? So my first job wasn't in cybersecurity from when I got out the hood, So I'm from Jamaica, Queens. Like I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. So then I moved down to Florida because, make a long story short, my mother passed away and I moved down here to get out the neighborhood. And then I was working as an electrician because that's my uncle has an electrical business. And then I knew I didn't want to do that because it was like too I didn't want to get my hands dirty. I wanted to try to sort of use a little brain that I got. So I'm like, okay, how can I maneuver that? I skateboarded my whole life. So maybe I can film doing multimedia and doing stuff like that. And then I stumbled upon like a family friend was like, yo, like do some IT stuff. And that's how I got into this world. And then I transitioned to cyber while I was in the world of technology already. So if you're just trying to jump the gun and get right into cyber, obviously it's possible, but I definitely think having some of those fundamentals, maybe getting like a help desk job or whatever, just to get those understandings of some of the technology for, about a year or so or half a year or whatever, and then like get into the world of cyber. But yeah, man, I can relate. I was there and I'm out of it. My brother's still stuck at it. There's some people in my family are still stuck there. And sometimes you're your own destiny. You know what I mean? So you want to get out of there, you want to do it, you can. It makes me emotional sometimes because have you ran through TCM? Yeah. So I have my PMPT. So when I did my PMPT, I already had pen testing experience. So I only went through some of the stuff in the courses because I already knew, like for an example, like Privesk or Linux Privesk or Priv Escalation or OSINT, these five courses that uh that require you or they the the technology or the skills that are in those courses that in order for you to pass the exam, I already had those. So I just like I did some of the courses and I did a PMPT review and I show like I never lie. Like I just always show my shit. So I just showed it and I was like, yo, you don't need to do this, this, and that. Cause unless like you're completely green to the field, then you have to do this, this, and that. But if you're, ready in the field, you understand some of those concepts, you can skip some of that stuff. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you. God bless you too, man. After you get your cybersecurity security plus certification and complete the cybersecurity 101, what happens next? Man, I wish I can answer that because I did my security plus 15 years ago. So I think if you do your security plus, the good thing about that now, if you get your security plus, you can do DoD contracts, right? So you don't only have to apply for the private sector. So you're your job search, your job reach, it expands dramatically because you're not only going for the civil sector or the private sector. Now you can go into government because it's DoD, whatever, compliant. So, so yeah. So what happens next is keep applying for jobs. Maybe hit up some recruiters, but sometimes that's even a better way in because this recruiter has that established relationship with the client or with the with the company, and just network with folks on LinkedIn and all you need to do, bro, like just when you connect with someone, even if you myself, like I know whoever's in this chat, I can, if you reach out to me on LinkedIn, I know, but if you just, reaching out to someone off the whim, I would say do a little introductory. I can't even say that word, but like, say, hey, like I followed your content, whatever. I think it's pretty cool. I just like to connect, blah, 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 and establish some of that that relationship. Like, hey, like I just want to know, like I see that you're a recruiter for XYZ company. I'm looking for these kind of positions. Do you have any clients that are open, or can you send me any bit or any gigs? So that's what I would do. That's the importance of networking. And which conferences do you speak at, say 2025? This year, when I'm speaking I'm not speaking at HackSpaceCon, but I will be at HackSpaceCon. I will be at B-Side Romania. So from now going forward, my conferences are B-Side Romania in May, um, Hack SpaceCon, I think the week after, which is May 10th or 13th or something. Excuse me. Those ones I would probably be speaking at, like, because I do work with Red Seer. Red Seer is the sponsor for Hack SpaceCon. So they already said like I can just, go up and do a speech if I get back in time. But that's the ones I want to be speaking at right at this moment that I have on the agenda. But other conferences I'll be at is uh, hopefully Black Hat, uh, DEF CON for sure. The B-sides Orlando, B-sides Tampa, B-sides St. Pete, because that's all in Central Florida, West Coast of Florida. Uh, Wild West Hackin' Fest in South Dakota, and I think that's in October. And I think those are the ones that I have just off the top of my dome. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know uh, at this very moment, but those are the ones I'll be at. All right, let's see. Your own legacy. Yeah. So many benefits from you. Thank you. And this week or last week, it's funny because I was talking about my story and like two people, is it two or three? Yeah, two people told me to write a book about my story. Because my story is a little unique. I hit and yeah, and I was watching Get Rich or Die Trying, literally on 102 in Jamaica. That's where I grew up, and it's I've seen some crazy shiznit. Uh, uh, who's your role model in cybersecurity? I guess I have to say that would be who is my role model in cybersecurity? Oh man, I don't think I have a role model in cyber. Like my role model, I guess Keith Barker, and he's not directly a cybersecurity person. He's like a network security, but he has like CISSP. He'd done some cyber, but that's my role model for life. Like without him, I wouldn't be here. Like with all the knowledge he did virtually, and then even now I have him as a friend that I can just like when I was studying for Cisco certifications, and I'm like, hey man, I'm stuck here. How would he never gave me the answer. He always gave me the methodology to get through it. And so I would say Keith Barker. Yep. So B-sides, Transylvania is paying for me to travel. The stay, to be honest, I haven't heard anything about that, but I do have some people that I met last year that I still kept in touch with. And I reached out to them as well, saying, hey, like, I don't know where I'm staying at, but if you're going to be at B-side Transylvania or B-side Romania, can I crash with you? And two people said, yeah. So regardless, I have a place to stay, but I think they are going to probably have the people that are traveling like from the States going over there. they'll probably stay in the same location, just like Kevin and I last year, we stayed in the same hotel. So they're probably going to do the same thing. No discount for the book. I'm not sure what book you're talking about, but if you're, I'm not sure. The book that I would put out. Oh, sorry. See, it's your story. Yeah, and that's not even all of it. It's hard for me to get like from where I grew up to like where I'm at, like without crying. So, uh, but yeah,
I want to
that's
be I want to be respectful of Pat's time since Pat's been here for over an hour. So
yeah.
I'm gonna close this out, guys. I guess unless you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to Pat on through email or just message him on LinkedIn. He's also on Discord. He has a free Discord, by the way. And before we let everyone go, Pat, just let them know about your Discord. Like what you guys been doing in there. Because you've been doing try hacking or something like that every weekend, right? Like hacking stuff.
Yeah. So just to give you this is my closeout, right? So I do hacking on Hack the Box. So Try Hack Me is a little, if you're just beginning, start out with Try Hack Me, right? That's more like user friendly and more like hand holding. Hack the Box, on the other hand, they just literally give you an IP address and tell you to go and hack your way in. So I started a team on Hack the Box about 2 months ago. And then I have folks. So if you're interested in learning how to hack, um, on my Discord, let me know because it's a private channel. Like if you just join my Discord, I don't even know how it looks for like the end user. I don't even think you can see that Hack the Box CTF team chat. But if you're interested, the one thing I started asking going forward is like participate. That's all we want. Like, because there's people that I put on the team who they said, yeah, I want to join. And it's been 7 weeks already, and they haven't even compromised the machine. So, and having those 0 points brings the ranking down for the team because it's a competition at the end of the day. But if you're not interested in that, if you're just interested in learning how to hack, just join and just go in the general chat. Just, hey, I'm interested in this, that, and the other, and I can try to guide you. I can say, okay, you're interested in web app stuff because maybe you did some C plus or some Java or PHP in school, and you're learning about these kind of development things, and you're like, oh, I'm learning how to develop a website. I want to learn how to hack it now, and I can guide you. I'm not the best web hacker. I'm not. That's not my niche, but I can guide you. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So Hack the Box is a little more advanced than Try Hack Me, and yeah, and that's pretty much what I do on my spare time on Saturdays. Like they're on right now, still hacking the box. I can see right now on the voice chat, there's 4 people, and we just like have some fun, join hacks for a couple hours. It all depends on how many hours you want to dedicate. And yeah, that's it. So this should be the last thing, and then we'll call it quits. Uh, what jobs do you recommend to apply for someone who has career? My eyes are killing me. Also, there's how many? So I think I would recommend just whatever jobs that you're interested in. Um, I don't really look for the job. I think I focus more on the company, right? Because the company is what matters to me more than just the job. Because I can give you a job at InfoSec Pat. I can say, hey man, I want you to be a content creator or a video editor, right? I want you to video edit my videos, right? And then I want to give you $50,000 a year, for an example. And then you go to ABC Media to do $50,000 there for editing videos, but they treat you like shit, right? And I'm like, cool, and we get to interact and we can get to shoot the smack, but we're getting paid the same. But you would rather work with, for example, me because I'm cooler. I'm just putting it out there. So always focus on the company. This is what I do. I don't focus on the role because the role is the same in InfoSec Pat or if it's ABC Media, right? The job is the same, but what matters is the culture and the company. So that's where I would focus at. And just, find that and then apply for jobs that reside in that company that pertains to stuff that Security Plus requires, right? Like security analysts, security engineers, and stuff like that. Yeah, so hopefully that answers. Awesome. Love you too, man. PF, everyone, Kev, thank you so much for having me, and hopefully I'll come hang out with you guys again. And that's it for now.
Okay.
Much love.
Peace out.
Take care, folks.